The Locked On Podcast Network presents the NBA Big 3 in 30. The 3 biggest stories in the NBA from our local experts at the Locked On Podcast Network. We bring you the real story, why it matters, what's next, who wins the big game, and more, all in 30 minutes. The NBA Big 3 in 30 starts now with the biggest stories in the NBA.
Folks, is Nikola Jokic the best player we've ever seen? I mean, he just keeps setting the bar higher and higher.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast.
This is crazy, bro. Like, I mean, I love numbers and synergy and analytics and, court data. And I love drawing up plays. I got my board over here. I mean, but legitimately, y'all, like, I just told Ryan off air. I think it doesn't sound correct, but this is true. I want y'all to know, audience, Jokic this season from two this season, Jokic is 101 of 129.
It's 28 shots.
He's made 101 2-pointers and missed 28. Jokic this year is literally breaking basketball. And I know, like, a lot of that is just like, a lot of that is just like, well, we hear that all the time. Like, just players breaking basketball. Like, we hear these phrases. Jokic is literally, y'all, I'm saying, like, actually, like, he's if basketball is a box and basketball has like a bunch of items in it, and then you pick up the box and then you just shake it, he's broke everything in it because it's unprecedented, you all, like unprecedented that you would get a player that is this dominant, this good, this consistent, this willing to do anything and everything to get better for his team. And it seems like he reaches a max. It literally at some point in time, it feels like we're supposed to get a max out. Like, Ryan, last year we said that's the best offensive season we've ever seen. 29.6, 13 rebounds, 10.2 assists, 2 steals. He shot 62% from 2, 44% from 3 without 22 heaves, 80% from the line. And so it was like, all right, cool. But Ryan, we had 28, and remember, 28, 10 and 8, and then the Ryan Blackburn year, the 27, 14 and 8.
Yeah.
Then we had 25, 12 and 10 on 70 true shooting, the first ever 20 points per game, 70 true shooting ever. And then won the championship on 30, 13 and 10 on 63 true shooting, and then averaged 30, 14 and 7 in the finals. And we was like, oh my God. And then you got 24, 26, 12 and 9, but really good defensive year. And it's like, oh wow, MVP. And then you get, the team is like discombobulated. The ownership and the management and the coach all have different vision of what's supposed to happen. Well, I guess I'll pick up the slack. And then you get 30, 13 and 10 in 70 games.
70.
And it's like, all right, well, just okay, Jokic is just going to chill. Me and Ryan are talking about pre-season. Like, hey, he's going to take a little bit of step-back role this year, 22, 24. And the dude just like no, I'm going to have my best defensive season ever. I'm going to have my best offensive season ever. Ryan, 77 true shooting on 29 points a game. Ryan, he had 52 points. And 11 rebounds and 6 assists.
You're missing your mic.
3 quarters. 52, 11, and 6 in 3 quarters on 92 true shooting.
Dude,
versus Zubac.
Yeah, I mean, these are good players, man. The Clippers last year were like second in the NBA in defense. They were like Ivica Zubac, like in the first round of the playoffs, he did a great job against Joker. He was fantastic against Joker, just matching up with him physically. They did a lot of great things. They were able to load up on the Nuggets, obviously, because they didn't have a lot of spacing, didn't have a lot of health. But like, Zoo was so good last year against Joker in the playoffs. It didn't ultimately matter because Denver was able to move on. But they're a good team, or at least they should be. They're 3-8 to start this season. That's another story. The Clippers suck. But like, this is a team that should be able to guard him. In his post game tonight, Ty Lue said that their plan was to make Jokic into a scorer. Was to make Jokic into a scorer. They're going to try to take away the passing, going to try to take away the assist. It's a game plan that we've seen a lot of people try to do. And tonight, Joker was not having any of it, not a single bit. He didn't let them off the hook at all. And you noticed it early because, okay, you get the injuries that happen. We'll go over that later, but you get the injuries that happen in the first quarter. And I think he turned around and he looked at it. It's like, we're not playing great basketball right now. I need to really turn it up. I really need to keep us alive in this game so that we can get back to playing great basketball. And they did. But until that point, like he had 33 in the first half, just raining hellfire from three, making every shot in sight, getting to the free throw line, being aggressive. And that's because like he got one-on-one coverage. Like, well, you're gonna let him see the same guy over and over and over and over and over again every single time.
It's
actually gonna cook.
Ryan, this Jake Coyne, the Stat Squatch. Another Stat Squatch is dropped.
Man.
He just tweeted, in NBA history, only one player has ever done each of these in the same season. A 50-point game, a 30, 15, and 15 game, and a 25-point game without attempting a single free throw. That player is Nikola Jokic, who did each of those things in the last 8 days. Like, Ryan, what is happening? Like, I just, like, legitimately, in November of this month, Ryan, he's averaging 36 points.
Hey, I thought he wasn't a scorer, Swiper. I thought he wasn't a scorer, man.
Ryan, in November of the Lord's year of 2025, he's averaging 36 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 steals. He's shooting 74% from the field, 56% from three, 86% from the line on an 83 true shooting for the month. And the Nuggets have won 6 straight games.
It's unbelievable. Like,
I'm telling you, man, this is like, right. I'm a little older. I watched Jordan. Yeah. I watched late 90s Jordan. Couldn't find a bigger fan. You couldn't find a bigger fan of Michael Jordan than me as a kid. I loved him. I had his Airness documentary.
Got him on the wall.
I just love it. Like you see, this is my GOAT. I watched LeBron James from his junior year of high school. I watched him play versus Carmelo Anthony, Oak Hill versus St. Mary, St. Vincent. I knew he was number 1 overall pick. I was rooting for Denver to get him. I watched him. I watched Shaq in the 2000s, Ryan. I saw Shaq and Kobe. Ryan, I legitimately have never seen anything like Jokic in my life, dude. In my life. And every single time we think he's surely this is the end of the peak. Like a lot of y'all, you might not be like Bible people. There's a story about Elijah where he tells a woman to fill up her tub with oil, and like literally said, like, I only have a corner oil left. So she starts turning it, and then it just keeps flowing in the story. And I'm like, literally, Jokic is like, oh, I'm gonna keep getting better, and then like, oh wow, like that's a lot. Like the bin is full, Jokic. And he's like, no, get another bin.
More. I got one more in me.
I got another year. I got another level. I got another level I can get to. And Ryan, I get that people want to enjoy the best player in the world talk. We'll talk about this more on the other side. People want to enjoy the best player in the world talks, man. But Ryan, I don't. What can't he do at this point?
I mean, we've seen the hezzy tween. So like, I don't know what it is. Like, I think. In the words of Stephen A., jump over a curb, but like I don't know, man. He got, like, the funny thing is, like, and we'll again talk about this more on the other side, but like, he runs down the floor, beats Ivica Zubac down the floor in the first quarter, gets down the floor, gets a dunk, and it's got to be the most demoralizing thing for a defense that after all the work that you do, after all the work that you have to do in the half court against Joker, after how big he is, how you think he's slow. he still finds a way oftentimes to just get free in these situations because he's so smart, he's so coordinated, and it's unbelievable, man.
The NFL season rolling along, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for this weekend with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits how I like to bet in the moment, whether it's a player prop, whether it's a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little more energy to Sunday. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Oh, there you are, Warriors. We are so back. A day after being so out. Curry, Butler look awesome. Moses Moody was kind of the third wheel, but it was a third wheel we welcomed. He was phenomenal. One of those Curry nights. We got a game-changing stretch that we got to talk about, bridging the third and the fourth. Warriors stepped on the gas late and finished the job, and we went from no offensive flow to humming. But let's start off with Steph Curry, one of those nights where he was hitting everything. He hit the leaning three in the first half where he tried to take the foul and just threw it up. It goes in. He was cleaning windows at one point, going window shopping. The bank shot was money, hitting threes. Said that his legs were a little tired in the first half, maybe losing a little confidence. He was leaving them short. Had a moment there, staring, reflecting, and getting ready to dominate. What a performance. 44 from Steph.
I texted my friend Bob Fitzgerald towards the end of tonight's game. We're all just lucky to be alive when Steph Curry is playing basketball. That's it. We're just lucky, man. What a joy to be able to watch this guy do his thing. And it was all about him tonight.
He went 46.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, 46. You said offensive flow. I mean, they were getting some open shots in the first half, but they were bricking everything. And it wasn't until Steph Curry started to do Steph Curry things that it all came together. And boy, is that just a beautiful thing to watch. I mean, we'll talk about Moses Moody. He was great tonight. Jimmy, not just the 28 points, but I just thought clearly a much more aggressive mentality from the word jump. A lot of good to talk about in the game tonight. No question about it. And a win that, I mean, listen, when we talked postgame last night, we hadn't heard Draymond and Jimmy postgame. So yeah. I'm not sure we realized how dire the locker room was feeling at that
Guy
moment.
was falling for about 9 hours, and this is one of those wins that just completely changes the vibes, right? You get a day to rest, go do it again on Friday, and you beat a team that was 8-2, and that's legit. I mean, the Spurs are really nice, and it felt like they were going to kind of control this game at the beginning. I thought, here we go again. Looked like they were going to roll. Warriors put up a 43-28 third quarter that flips the game. Curry shot more free throws than the Spurs team when it was all said and done, I believe, unless that changed in the last minute. I don't think it did.
Well, he had 16, and the Spurs as a team had 16, so tied.
Okay, so he shot as many free throws as the entire Spurs team. You got to like
made
that.
One more.
Yeah. So that third quarter, though, specifically, Curry gives it to Butler with about 3 minutes left. He had scored like 5 straight possessions to get up to 37, I believe it was on the night. He had 22 in the quarter, and I'm thinking, Steve, come on, what are you doing? Don't take him out right now. He's got the hot hand. Puts in Butler. Butler holds down the fort, man. And it was right as Wemby came in, too. Like, Steph checked out, Wemby comes in. That's your stretch where the Warriors were able to hang on, because once Steph came back in there and Stephon Castle was gone, that thing's over. I was begging De'Aaron Fox to keep shooting.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose relative to Victor Wembanyama, you'll basically beg anybody out there to do something. I mean, look, Castle's good. Sadly, we didn't.
Nice night.
He did. We didn't get to see Dylan Harper, who I think is maybe going to be the best of those supporting players to Wemby. But boy, oh boy, that guy impacts the game on both sides of the floor like almost nobody I can think of. I mean, it's right up there already in year, what is it, 3?
Yeah, he's like 22.
It's right up there with guys like LeBron and Jordan in their primes. Not necessarily his overall level as a player, but just the like percentage impact he has.
Oh yeah,
all the time on both ends of the floor, man.
Yeah,
The way guys are just afraid. There was a play where Jimmy Butler was on the baseline tonight, and he just flat out beat his man. I forget who it was, maybe Devin Vassell. And he beat his man about 8 feet from the rim on the baseline. And Victor Wembanyama was defending the opposite three-point corner, standing on the opposite side of the paint. And Jimmy Butler, from right in front of the rim, saw Victor on the opposite side of the paint and stepped back and took a jumper. And that's Jimmy Butler, like not Steph Curry. So it's unbelievable. And that just makes it all the more incredible that Steph Curry scored 46 points tonight on a night where in the first quarter, you would have said he didn't have it, right?
They scored 14 as a team in the first. And we'll get to the first later on to kind of break down how it went, but we're not going to talk about the ugly first. There was way too much good. But Wemby was one of those goods. I mean, for San Antonio, he was so damn good. 45 of the 55 points the Spurs had in the first half were either scored or assisted by Wembanyama. He makes it feel like you're playing against the old Syracuse zone with Jim Boeheim, where they just beg
He's
you.
He's all 3 dudes at the bottom. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
That 2-3 zone. He's the arms that are flying everywhere, and it's fun to watch. That was a hell of a matchup. First and foremost, what a game we saw.
Yes, great game, great performances from great players, and we haven't mentioned yet Draymond Green. When you see what Wembanyama is capable of, I would say that Draymond's defensive performance tonight was, weird to say, I guess, when a guy goes 11 for 22, 31 points, 15 boards, and 10 assists. But Draymond was really something against him tonight. He did force 8 turnovers. He did make a lot of those shots tougher than they often are for Wembanyama. And that's what's so incredible about Victor is that I thought they did a pretty good job against him tonight. And he has a 30-point triple-double, 30-15-10 triple-double. It's hard to even fathom how he's going to impact the game. 2 triple-doubles for the Spurs tonight in a loss because Castle had one too. That team, man.
Yeah,
and again,
nice. And you mentioned Dylan Harper not even playing. I kind of forgot, and he's really good.
He's
really
already
good.
very good. Yeah, this team is a championship contender. So, no, they're certainly not on the level of the Thunder, who you saw last night. But the Spurs right now have to be considered in that next tier of contenders, and I'm not sure after what I've seen from everybody so far this year that I wouldn't favor them to be second in the conference. Although, again, there's Houston, there's Denver. It's nasty out here, man. The Western Conference is no joke, and there really are not nights off.
Yeah, they're like Pistons West, although I think they're better than the Pistons, honestly. They're really good, no doubt about it. I said they'd finish like 5th in the conference. I mean, it's such a good conference that Houston's pretty nice too.
And injuries, of course, could change all of this, but wow.
You would think they finished top 5, though. I
Certainly
think that's pretty fair. Yeah,
certainly
I think that's a team that's going to finish top 5 in the Western Conference, assuming they can stay healthy. A lot that we want to get to. Fourth quarter, some of the big rebounds that Gary Payton had late. He played some really good minutes. And why I thought the game-changing dudes, very obvious. It was Butler, it was Curry, and Moses Moody. It was a trio that really just kind of seemed like it was Butler, Curry, get the ball in our hands. We're going to go to work. And then they trusted Moody. They said, Moody, you come along with us. We like your game. And it was a lot of 3-man offensive basketball. And they were looking really good. Draymond, we mentioned the shots were not falling tonight. He was 1 of 10, 0 of 7 from 3. Thought one was going to go down. It's been a good start to the season shooting from 3, but not tonight for Draymond Green.
The NFL season rolling along, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for this weekend with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits how I like to bet in the moment, whether it's a player prop, whether it's a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little more energy to Sunday. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
The Oklahoma City Thunder played elite defense against Luka Doncic.
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This was such an amazing game from Oklahoma City that once again, we're having to record right after the game from the bowels of the Paycom Center, this time in the Will Rogers room. You can see the cassettes behind me. Look it up, kids. There's a great musical room here in Oklahoma City and the Paycom Center. But the Thunder in this game, second night of a back-to-back, still don't have J-Dub, still don't have Aaron Wiggins, still don't have Kenrich or Topic. And the Lakers, while they got off to this 8-3 start heading into this game, we've been without LeBron James all season long. They, of course, were still without LeBron James in this game. But the Thunder just absolutely beat them down, and it starts with their defense on Luka Doncic. And heading into this game, you could figure some tired legs on the second night of a back-to-back. You could just simply cast it off as, they're missing two all-defensive members in street clothes tonight in Dub and Dort. And you could have been worried about what Luka Doncic would do to this Thunder roster. He's had success against Oklahoma City. And it was going to be interesting to see how could the Thunder limit Luka Doncic. They didn't limit him. They completely shut him down. They completely took him out of the game. And this was a great effort from not only Cason Wallace, from this entire team. And honestly, you've got to give a lot of credit to Mark as well, because they came up with this system to just blitz and hedge on every ball screen against Luka and put pressure on the back end and rely on their back end rotation to take away the paint as best they could, while also, of course, with those blitzes oftentimes coming off of DeAndre Ayton screens, having bigs have to contest Luka on the outside and help Cason Wallace trap him. The margin for error is so small against Luka because of his playmaking ability off of his three-level scoring ability that it's hard to make him uncomfortable, and the Thunder did that in a fantastic way. There were very, very, very few breakdowns. You can think of one where Cason forces Luka to fumble the ball away twice, and Luka's on a loaded, strong side of the court, and nobody's on the cross court to defend a Rui catch-and-shoot three that Luka got to him with a midair pass. You can think of the one where SGA fouls Ayton as he's a late rotation to Ayton, trying to contest him at the rim whenever you have your center playing high and hedging off of that initial screen. Those are the two plays that you can think of that the Thunder would have wanted to have back, where the Thunder just got beat because of Luka's playmaking and because his role player stepped up for him. Other than that, it was Isaiah Hartenstein. It was Chet Holmgren switching on to Luka Doncic and putting him in traffic and making his life uncomfortable. And this is a testament to this entire team. Jay Will and Brennan Carlson did that job as well, in lesser minutes, of course, than Ihart and Chet in the grand scheme of things. But you saw Jay Will come in, and it did a great job picking up Doncic off the screens, forcing him to be a passer. Ayton had 6 early points, but other than that, it was a light night from DeAndre Ayton, considering the pressures that the Thunder are putting on him. And I think that when you looked at OKC, they did a great job of changing up how they defended Luka. We mentioned how heavy they were off of screens. They also let Chet defend them in isolation a couple times. They also let Cason take him in isolation a few times. They let Alex Caruso take him in isolation a couple times. So just whenever the Lakers thought they could maneuver around the looks that the Thunder were giving them, the Thunder changed those looks, and they played back and forth between those two coverages in this game. I thought that this was a phenomenal defensive game from OKC. And you go down the list of Cason, Caruso, AJ Mitchell, who had opportunities against Luka, and the only thing that he had tonight was some ticky-tack calls. But credit to the Thunder, because the ticky-tack calls is not a complaint. That's reality in the NBA. You're going to have to play through a whistle when you're playing a superstar. No matter who the superstar is or where he plays or what his reputation is, they all get calls. They all get the light contact. And Luka got that tonight whenever he could get to the rim, whenever they weren't forcing the ball out of his hands. But that's the key. They played through it. They didn't get frustrated with the foul calls, and they continued to deny him that ability, because you can't get a foul call when you're stepping back at the Paycom Center logo. You can't get a foul call whenever you're becoming a playmaker and getting the ball out of your hands because you're forced to. And the Thunder did that. They did a great job of forcing him to never be comfortable in this game. I want to give all the credit in the world to Cason Wallace. Cason Wallace, his screen navigation tonight was Lou Dort-esque. And that's Lou's thing. Not only can he draw the illegal contact on screens and get illegal screens called for the Thunder as another way to get stops, but his ability to fight through them with his physicality and stay attached to guys like Luka is what's been making this Thunder defense so elite in years past. Cason did that tonight. Cason allowed for, while they were hedging those screens, playing level with the screens, and blitzing Luka at times, he allowed for the big to eventually peel off and recover because he got over the screen and he got back in front in a complementary position and a defensive position on Luka Doncic. Cason did a great job staying down on the pump fakes from Luka. And again, I do not blame Luka for going to the pump fakes, trying to get his defender in the air and take advantage of it, especially in a night like this where they're putting you in traffic nonstop. But Cason being disciplined enough to stay down and not bite on that as a young player, still as a third-year guy, and someone who, it's impossible not to psychoanalyze here and look at the opportunity that Cason has had the last couple of nights to be the guy. There's no help coming. The National Guard's not coming for Cason Wallace. There's no Lou Dort to take you out. It's your job to defend the head of the snake and Steph and Luka, and he did that phenomenally 2 nights in a row. And Cason Wallace deserves that credit. And the big man on this roster also deserve credit for their ability to show and recover and blitz off screens, because it was an athletic game from iHeart. It was an athletic game from Jay Will. It was an athletic game from Brandon Carlson in spurts. Like, you knew Chet had the ability to do that. Obviously, it's not going to be your daily drive, or you don't want the Chet Luka isolations to be your bread and butter, but you knew in a pinch he could handle this matchup with guards on an island. He won you the NBA Finals doing that in a couple possessions. But it was impressive to be able to see Isaiah Hartenstein do that, as we think of him as more of a traditional lumbering big. But the Thunder were a plus 12 in the Luka minutes in the first quarter, and that's when you knew the game was over. I mean, that's when you knew the game was over. Because if you can not only survive, but thrive in the Luka minutes with this Lakers roster, which didn't get a bench point until, the cows came home, you knew that the Lakers were cooked. And for them to be down 2 all-defensive players, and for Luka to have the complement of Austin Reeves, and you be able to shut all that off at the same time, it was very impressive. You forced Luka in this game to not only get a frustration tech, but to settle for bad threes and Hail Marys and Paycom Center triples. And to the point where, if you go back and you watch that game again, as this, I imagine, will be one of the fan favorite games of the year. If you go back and watch that game again, Luka Doncic, the best shot he took all night, as a guy who is able to exploit, dissect, and dominate any defensive coverage against him. The best shot he got all night was a catch-and-shoot 3 from the P in the Paycom Center logo, that green P on the court, that loud, obnoxious green P. A catch-and-shoot 3 from right there with Alex Caruso contesting him late. That was the best shot all night. He missed it. He put up 19 points on 20 shots tonight. 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. He was a minus 31. You won the Luka Doncic minutes and forced Luka to be a minus 31 in this contest. He can only get 7 free throws. And again, I'm not saying that to bash Luka. I'm saying that because he could not get to the paint enough to generate double-digit free throws. Like, think about that. Think about how you've seen this team, whenever they're at full strength, have to defend Luka, where he's often touching the paint. And those paint touches lead to free throws, but they also lead to kick out for wide open threes. Tonight, he couldn't leave the perimeter. He was literally boxed in. And a stat line for Luka that reads 19 points on 20 shots with 7 boards, 7 assists, 2 steals, and a minus 31 while shooting 35% from the floor, 14% from 3, and just 57% from the line. That's without Lou Dort on the floor. That's with Lou Dort in street clothes. And that is the biggest testament to what this Thunder team is, to what this defense is. It's interesting. You think back to the questions of the offseason. How are they going to handle a shortened offseason? Can they really duplicate their historic defense from a year ago? Because if you look at the numbers in the past, right, and you go back and you analyze the defensive leaders team-wide in the league year over year, oftentimes that first place team naturally takes a step back. Now, they don't plummet by any means, but they also don't retain that number one spot. And the Thunder have done that. And they had a massive bar to live up to, and they've had an all-defensive team member not make his debut yet, and another one miss multiple games, and having to play these legendary scores back-to-back nights.